So far we have discussed that four problems in the question, exercise 2.1. Now the fifth question we are going to discuss. The fifth question is, in the question number 4, point C is called a midpoint of line segment AB. Prove that every line segment has one and only one midpoint. That means consider a line segment AB, and this line segment would have only one midpoint. We need to prove that. Let's C is a midpoint. Now we need to prove that C is the only one midpoint of AB. To prove that, let's take another midpoint. D is any another midpoint on the line segment AB. Now the solution is, suppose if I consider C is the midpoint of line segment AB. C is midpoint of AB. Midpoint of AB. See, if C is the midpoint of AB, every midpoint of a line segment divides the line segment into two equal parts. That means if C is the midpoint, AC and BC lengths are equal. AC length and BC lengths are equal. AC is equal to BC. So these two are two equals. If I add same number on both sides for the equals, AC plus AC is equal to BC plus AC. According to Euclid axioms, if equals added for the equals, again they are equals. The results are again equal. So AC plus AC is equal to 2AC. BC plus AC. This is BC and this is AC. BC plus AC is AB. Let this is equation number 1. And suppose if I consider D is the midpoint of AB, D is midpoint of AB, then AD and BD lengths are equal. If D is midpoint of AB, AD length would be equal to BD length. Again the same here, what I apply, again same here I will apply. Take AD and add on both sides. AD plus AD is equal to BD plus AD. See here, for equals, if you add equals, the results again are equal. So AD plus AD is 2AD is equal to BD plus AD. BD, this is the length of BD and this is AD. Both if you combine, you will get AB. Let this is equation number 2. Observe equation 1 and 2. RHS are equal. AB is equal to AB, so that LHS would become equal. 2AC is equal to 2AD. From 1 and 2, what you will get? 2AC is equal to 2AD. 2AC is equal to 2AD. And 2 gets cancelled. So what you will get? AC is equal to AD. We got here AC is equal to AD. You can observe that AC and AD in the given figure. AC length is this and AD length is this. But we got here AC and AD both are equal. That means this AC and AD lengths never become equal. It is impossible unless if D is coincide with C or C is coincide with D, it is impossible. That means we got here wrong statement. That means any one, either C or D, is the only one midpoint. There is no more two more midpoints of any line segment. So it is impossible. It is impossible unless C coincide with D. If C coincide with D or D coincide with D, both the points we will consider as a single point. That means we have only one midpoint. So C and D are single point. So every line segment, we can conclude that every line segment has one and only one midpoint. After this you should write as, therefore every line segment has one and only one line segment, one midpoint, one midpoint. That's it. Just copy the answer by pausing the video. And I am going to discuss about question number 6. In question number 6, they have given that in figure 2.10, if AC is equal to BD, then prove that AB is equal to CD. Here they have given one figure, that is AD is a line segment, and B and C are any 2 points on that line segment. And they have given that, what they given in data, AC is equal to BD. AC is equal to BD, they have given. AC length and BD length they have given. If AC length and BD lengths are equal. And we can observe that AC is the sum of these two parts. That means AB plus BC. We can write AC as AB plus BC. AB plus BC is equal to AC. And also we can write as BD, we can write as BC plus CD. BC plus CD. Combination of BC part and CD part, if you combine, you will get BD. And you can observe that here BD gets cancelled. If you take this BC this side, BC minus BC gets cancelled directly, you can cancel it. Then what is remaining? AB is equal to CD. That they have asked to prove that AB is equal to CD. Hence it is proved. Just pause the video and copy it. And the question number 7 is, why axiom 5 in the list of Euclid axioms considered a universal truth? They have given that clearly in the bracket in the question number 7, that you should not assume that given axiom is not a postulate, that is axiom. So you go to the list of Euclid axioms which I have given in the notes. Just refer the 5th axiom. The 5th axiom is whole is greater than its parts. Whole is greater than its parts. Whole is greater than parts is a universal truth. Why it is called a universal truth, they are asking. So why it is a universal truth? A universal truth does not require any proof or explanation. So the statement which do not require any proof or explanation is called universal truth. So but this is a universal truth, everybody can agree this, but I am going to give some simple explanation to you. So just you take a duster, this is a duster. So just take a duster, let this duster name as T, this is a T, and break into 3 equal parts this duster, break into 3 equal parts, let's name them ABC, this I am dividing into 3 equal parts, let them part 1 is A, part 2 is B, part 3 is C. Now this T we can write as sum of its parts, A plus B plus C. If these 3 parts if you combine, you will get this T, whole duster you will get. That means this is the duster and this is the part A, this is part B and this is part C. If these 3 you combine again, you will get T. That means you can observe here, this T is greater than A, T is greater than B, T is greater than C. Whether it is a size or volume, whatever it is, it is greater. So not only this, you can take any object and break into the pieces and observe the whole into the parts. So always whole is greater than its parts. That means T is greater than A, T is greater than B, T is greater than C. Here you can observe that T is greater than A, T is greater than B, T is greater than C. So in examination, just if you write this also, they will give the marks. So always whole is greater than parts. It is a universal truth. It does not require any proof or explanation. Copy it.